Get 2 for 1.
I think you did already.
No, not for me.
Okay. Live from New York. Okay, we're all set. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Cheney?
Here.
Mayor Newhart?
Here.
Trustee Calora?
Here.
Trustee McKnight?
Here.
And Trustee Foster is absent this evening.
Great. Before we get going, I just wanted to do a kind of shout out. As many people listening to this have seen news reports of the altercations that happened in the CVS parking lot a week ago, last Saturday. And I wanted to thank the Warwick PD, and I wanted to thank the I'm not sure exactly his title, but he was a park ranger or park patrol officer who were there at the right time. And but I also want to thank the many people of our community that have reached out to me and have been so gracious and kind and generous and in their thoughts and prayers, and concerned about my health, my well-being. And that was just what I know our community is all about. And so I was very grateful for that. So we'll move on. And I also want to thank the board for your support too throughout the whole. So may I have a motion for authorization to pay all approved and audited claims in the amount of $204,382.05.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have no reports to authorize, but we do have an announcement. And Barry, would you give us?
Sure. This is an announcement that was made last week. It's in regards to the village's bulk trash pickup that will begin for household items August 28th, 2023. Items acceptable for pickup are listed. A complete listing is in the bulk trash requirements and regulations on the village website. And there are certain items that will not be picked up, and I'll just run through them quickly. Garbage, leaves, brush, tires, barrels, paint, drain oil, construction debris, computer equipment, appliances such as refrigerators, air conditioners, televisions, washers, dryers, stoves, etc. Also, there's a limit into how much can be picked up. The village will pick up approximately 1 pickup truckload, 2 cubic yards of trash. Any trash in excess of this amount will be left for the property owner to remove. The village is asking that residents separate at the curb metal items so that those can be put to recycling. We have a contract for that that costs the village nothing more, I believe, than the cost to pull it, so we don't pay a per ton fee, whereas the rest of it we're paying a per ton fee. All items are to be at the curbside by 7 a.m. on the day noted to ensure pickup. Once the area has been picked up, there will be no return trips. If you belong to a homeowners association, you should contact your homeowners association, as they will give you instructions on where to get rid of your trash. The village is divided into 2 areas to be picked up. Area 1 is north of the railroad tracks. That pickup will begin on August 28th, so everything has to be out at the curb by August 28th. Area 2 is the south side of the railroad tracks, and that date to begin that is September 5th. And just as a reference, Village Hall is on the north side of the railroad tracks, and Railroad Green Railroad Avenue is on the south side of the railroad tracks. If you need assistance determining the area, check on the village website. There's a link there that will allow you to search by your street.
Very good. Thank you. And people really look forward to that activity, so.
We get, probably starting in about May, they start asking,
Yeah.
when
oh,
is-
when's bulk trash pickup gonna be?
So under discussions this evening, we have 3 items. The first is 100 Main Street, Warwick, New York, an agreement for repayment of water and sewer charges. And under correspondence, we have a letter from 100 Hospitality Group, who own the property. And so the request is that we waive the sewer fees. So that what happened, if you've read the notes, that there was a pipe burst in the basement, and it was repaired, but because of that, there was an excessive water and sewer bill. And so there is also a request for a setting up of payment schedule, which we do, when something like this happens. So I just want to get your sense of if that is a reasonable request, and/or it does bring about, the thought of what does that open up, and/or, what are the other requests that might come from it as well. So, but if you want to make some comments, I'd appreciate it.
Well, currently, we don't have any kind of a policy that would, I believe, allow us to do this, which is a problem. And the question of even creating a policy, I think, calls to question how we might be able to calculate in some reasonable manner for everybody who would come under the policy, present or future, how we would calculate the amount of water that didn't enter the sewer.
That was my question. How is that estimated?
Well, we don't estimate it.
You
So-
could
so
if you
there's
had
a-
a meter, a separate meter. For
Right.
example, there are people who have irrigation systems that have a separate meter because they want to just pay for specifically the water. But if there is none, then it's tied together.
It's tied to the water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sorry, Tom, I didn't understand.
Okay, yeah. So, my understanding from reading the correspondence is that the dirt basement's floor absorbed that water. It didn't actually go into the sewer. So
Well,
right now, the
the-
water rates and the sewer rates are intrinsically tied together.
Intrinsically tied together. Any break, whether there was a dirt floor or cement floor, would, because it's not going through the system, then it wouldn't be, it would be, how do I explain? It goes to the meter, and the meter does its tabulation.
Right.
And the tabulation includes water and sewer, no matter what.
And normally, it's a totally closed system where all the water that enters through the meter ends up pretty much in the sewer. So,
Except in cases like this. But this isn't the
Yeah.
first time that, there's been a pipe break and it doesn't actually go into the
right.
sewer. So what have we done in the past?
That was my question.
Well, we have basically created payment schedules if it's large. It is in essence, because they're tied together, maybe looked at by the state as a potential gift. And so that is a concern. And also, it might, we don't have a policy. And so without a policy, it's hard to.
Because if you do something without a policy, then you open up another edge case.
Right. And we've had people who have had this happen, and they have paid the
Water.
full amount.
That's rough.
I mean, we can, our next board meeting, we'll have our counsel, and maybe that would be worth, holding off and speaking to him.
I would prefer the advice of council, and I'd be curious about what other municipalities have done. Who also have municipal water and sewer.
Right.
Right, what they've done to make any possible exceptions, but if this opens up to potential liability, if we do anything without policy, we should get the advice of
Surely.
council.
And then the other thing too, and it really is, it speaks of where we're going with our water system and our meter system, is the new, the iPearl has the capability of giving us the information that something like this is happening. Not yet, but it can down the road. We just need $1 million and a couple of transmission towers. But nonetheless, that will be a real great thing for the public at large and for us, because the last thing we want is to waste water. But,
And the homeowner will be able to look at it as well,
right, exactly.
or property owner.
In real
Yeah,
time.
in real time,
Yes. So,
And Steve might be aware of other policies out there that have contemplated this.
so what we do have, though, is a motion on our agenda to set up a payment schedule. And I don't want, to, in a way, if we hold up that, then there are penalties that are accrued. So I think that maybe we should move forward with this, and then if there is a policy, if there is a change, then we can reimburse.
I agree.
Okay.
So, yes, Stefano.
Thank you, and thank you all for, take a look into this. I'm considering that, like you just say, there is not a way to make any calculation. But we have some numbers. The numbers are the average that we pay every quarter with the sewer. So, and I know perfectly that it's going to be very difficult to get from, the state, and it's going to be a process and long terms. So if I can, put out a suggestion to take a look at numbers and see the average of the payment of the sewer and what is over that number to kind of calculate what is over the sewer payment.
Yeah.
I think that for sure is going to bring all of us to some point, reasonable point. And because every quarter we pay sewer, so
Right.
Besides the most of the water didn't get into the sewer. So I think that if we want to follow a simple mathematical calculation, we can all arrive to a number that is not precise, like it's never been precise with the sewer payment because it's connected with the water. So it's at the end of the day, I think that we can take a look in these following days
Yep.
to that other solution instead and get the reimbursement and have everybody work like more for a simple solution. that we
Okay.
can find everybody.
Well, we appreciate
If I
your
can,
your
yes.
comments, yeah. And your letter is part of that, we
Yes,
appreciate
yes.
that.
And I really have a copy of the payment plans.
Yep.
Again, unfortunately, we are trying, today I had like another pipe exploding in the kitchen and I had to call a plumber. So it's just because the maintenance was not, there was no maintenance inside the building for this last 13 years.
Yeah,
And I'm taking a look also on insurance. Actually, I have a meeting with the landlords on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock that, to move their building insurance to the restaurant company because definitely we are looking to, do more maintenance of pipes and anything that can damage that beautiful building.
yes,
I love American History, so I'm so glad that I'm running a business in a 1780 building. And I would love to keep in the best condition possible. So considering I'm paying insurance, the landlord be off, but I understand that I don't have any benefit on an enormous amount of money that I pay every month. I'm trying to take a look better in that insurance and try to work with the landlord and the contractors to have a better maintenance and try to don't damage more than it is that building. So
Understood.
that is my the best I can do for the property.
Well, I just want to comment that you've done wonderful things for the property. You're obviously a new roof and painting and interior work, and that is, that's the pride of place and what we do as a community, and that is what makes Warwick so desirable. And, when we
That
take,
will be done more from my side, those works from the landlord, and I'm taking care of the outside, we plant some flowers for now, we are renovating the backyard, we are replacing a pergola, so we are trying to let's look that building, better, in the better way possible, so.
Great.
But thank
Good.
you for,
okay, well, we will be in touch. We will move forward this evening on the motion for the payment plan, which will include sewer for the time being, and we have to talk to our council.
Okay.
Because it is more involved than just you. It involves, how this goes through the entire system, so,
all right,
okay?
all right.
Thank you
you.
very much. Okay.
Thank you.
And then the next thing under discussion is the Village of Warwick's newsletter, final proofing and approval.
This
And
is like the final one.
the final, and it looks beautiful. I just want to thank you, Mary, for all the work.
Thank you.
I mean, it's quite a feat and quite the template for the future.
It was
Just to
fun.
give the public a sense that this is something that we are going to
Can I
publish
pass it around?
Yes.
quarterly, and it will be sent to households. And also, it will be available on digitally. And the reason why we're doing it quarterly is to kind of capture the seasonal things that happen, whether it's, the bulk pickup in the summer or paving projects in the fall or whatever it is that is happening in the community. It also involves events, but it also captures what's happening in our departments. And that, I think, is really important, and it gives really a voice to our government and lets people see, what are you doing?
I'm breaking it up.
It gives voice to our government and all of the parts of it, not just the folks at this table, but also our Department of Public Works and our building department and our planning department, all critical pieces of the puzzle of local government, so.
Yeah, and I just have a couple things I want to say about it. Of course, I want to thank the mayor and board for helping me in this process, and the village staff and all the departments and organizations that helped me with content. I want to thank Jennifer O'Connor and Katie Bizzaro, who did the final look-through edits for me. They're used to this municipal information. And Katie was able to really help me format these ginormous numbers. So that was really helpful. I wanted to mention the Student Youth Leadership Group because the mayor and I had lunch with them a couple of weeks ago, right when I was in the middle of working on this project. And a lot of the questions they asked the both of us were about how do you bring your creative side into your position, which is something that I've thought about and something that I kind of struggled with at times, especially as I'm still finding my footing. So I think to have that conversation with those kids that are learning about leadership was so incredibly helpful to me. And I think it really gave me the last push of inspiration and confidence I needed to really bang it out. And I think you can tell it's like inspired. Moving forward, as we continue to produce these, I'm looking for you, the residents, for your input. This newsletter is for you. So there is, Jen, may I see this, please? There is, where is it? This QR code that goes directly to our virtual suggestion box. And any input would be appreciated to make this work as well as it can work, as far as what is working, what's not working, what you want to see more of. That would be really helpful. But again, it's been an absolute pleasure to work on. As far as our budget, it was in the budget. 2 newsletters. There was $5,000 in the budget for 2 newsletters this fiscal year. I'm still discussing and deciding how many copies we need, but right now my quote is at 29 cents per piece and 19 cents per postage. If we want, I asked if we could get extras so we can have some on hand in the office, and we wouldn't have to pay postage on those, we just have to pay the printing costs. So that's it. And then just some questions for the board. I know Barry and I were discussing whether we were going to do it quarterly, if we were going to do it every 6 months to start.
Well, I thought when we talked about it, we were gonna do it twice the first year.
Well,
And then,
well,
and then go quarterly.
Well, we will, because it'll be,
Yeah, because the next one would be November.
fall, winter.
This is fall.
Oh, this
It'll
is
be
fall.
winter, and then
Okay.
the next fiscal year, I guess. Well, March is kind of
March is in this fiscal year.
okay.
Well, we could put, the desire is to be.
And I think that's
Barry
clear.
said no.
You know, our desire is to do it.
Yeah.
And I thought we were gonna just do it once now and once in March to kind of get our feet wet.
In March, oh.
Oh, goes okay. So Tom's gonna help me figure out how we can have another QR code where you can opt in to get an email to you. So eventually, everyone's gonna have an email to them. We will have to do print copies.
Hopefully.
Well, also, I think it's less expensive than you thought, too. right?
It is, and I'm gonna say this because I have to say this. This is my exact skill set as a layout person. And if you were to hire out, the cost for layout and design would be about $100 per page. So that would be a savings of, this is 6 pages, so that's $600. So that's $1,200. So I'm extremely happy and proud to be able to bring that skill set. Then we could spend more money on colors. So
I mean, I say that because then maybe we would be able to cover 3 editions
yeah,
in this fiscal year.
yeah, and we could always
And
like, this page is optional too. Like we could just do 4 pages. That would bring the cost down too.
Sure.
And if we find that we don't need extra copies in the village, or, there's ways we can kind of bring it down as well. And then another couple things I'm sorry. To spread out. Another things we were discussing, I added this, the Climate Smart Communities Certified Bronze.
Great.
Do we want to include the Hello Warwick Valley logo?
You mean this, as it
This.
is?
Yeah, these 2 things are on the village's website.
Well, I think that logo makes it apparent and strong. It directs you to it.
Okay.
To what?
Hello
To
Warwick
the
Valley.
website.
Is there, but they're an organization that is loosely affiliated with the village, not a function within the village government. And I'm just concerned that by allowing it to appear that we're going to get multiple requests in the future
Yeah.
from other organizations that would want notice to be made. And I'm completely in agreement with what Hello Warwick Valley does. It's very helpful to the village, but I'm not sure that it maybe is appropriate.
Well, I mean, I see it as a resource that no one else has for, not only municipal activities, but community activities. I don't know, I
It
just.
is, I don't disagree.
and-
But there are a
and
lot of other resources out there that may want the same
I don't,
recognition.
yeah, I don't know of anybody else that does that. I mean, this is a tourism,
Well, Chamber of Commerce could ask for it.
Well, I have to be careful. I'm on the board of Hello Work Valley, so I don't want to say too much.
yeah, sure.
But the chamber gave me the Applefest information, so they did contribute.
Well, Tom, what are your thoughts? Back, forth, both?
I don't have any strong thoughts on it, to be honest.
Yeah. We have this on our website.
Yeah.
And we and the other three municipal entities participate in funding it.
Well, we fund the community center, we fund the We Do program, there's
And-
quite a few things we fund.
Well, and we would probably, put in information about those. I mean, right now, there isn't, but maybe next, the next edition, there would be. Same thing with the coalition. The idea is to get word out and to get information in one place, so that it's,
What's this?
right,
The coalition.
right, Warwick celebrates National Night Out. It's- I don't see where it is opening up the floodgates for other organizations. We're not promoting an event or activity. We're connecting, we're linking the public and our citizens to something that's a very good tool in terms of, scheduling and knowing what's going on.
That makes sense to me. It's a resource.
And I think I would draw a hard line at putting events in here, because once you start including events, it gets too crazy.
Well, that's why that is such a great resource, because that's where events are. So instead of filling this with events, it can be found right there.
I have another question before we end this discussion, but
What's that, Mary?
is Barry still, are you guys still working this out? The other question I had, is everyone okay with including our emails?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Those are all my questions.
Well, thanks for doing this. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Thanks. Couldn't have done it without everyone's help. So it should be, no one has any final corrections?
Did you write a blurb about the comp plan, about it receiving an award?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I added that.
okay.
Barry gave me a bunch of corrections. I did that. I did this. I made that stand out more.
That's great,
I got permission to use this photo.
great.
So I think we're covered.
So the comp plan was for the village's comp plan, not the parks.
Right.
Right, okay.
Right,
Should be in here. Oh, yeah, okay, great.
right there.
Yeah.
And so I'll send off to print tomorrow or Wednesday. It might take me a couple days to communicate with the printer. the print setup, and then it'll take them about 1 week, so hopefully it'll be in the mail by the time we have our next meeting.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Yay!
Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah. Long time coming. We've talked about it for
I
a
know.
number of years, and so it's great to see it in
Yeah.
3D. So also under discussions is the Village of Warwick's podcast proposal. So Mary, you've been working on that as well.
Again. Yeah, I sent around this very comprehensive proposal. What is everyone's thoughts?
I think it's a great idea. I think that it's gonna find its level, you know, by the doing of it, you know. But I think this is a great kind of comprehensive outline or guide. And maybe we all should just look at it very carefully and scribble it up and make notes. If that's, I mean, I didn't see anything that was out of context or that,
I'm just curious, why did the suggestion for a 20-minute podcast?
I think 20 minutes is like a good time.
Oh.
Right.
I don't know that, well, two things. One, is it going to capture
Yeah.
someone's attention for 20 minutes? Is somebody going to want to sit there and listen to it for 20 minutes as opposed to
Oh, you
like
think
a
it's
5 or a
too-
10 minute?
Oh, you would go shorter?
Shorter, yeah.
Really?
And then doing it every other week, 20 minutes of content every other week seems to be, really aggressive. If we've got that, maybe we can do it. But I just, question what we might be able to cover after the first 4 or 5 months.
the 5 minutes seems like a real, I mean, it sounds more like an ad or a
An
clip. Yeah,
infomercial.
Infomercial, yeah. I mean,
I
the
don't know.
idea,
What's the attention span of people that listen to podcasts?
I think it depends on the topic
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, does it have to be tied to a number of minutes? I mean, maybe there are simple short ones, but maybe there are longer ones even.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the podcast medium is that it can be delivered in a lot of different ways, and you can listen to it asynchronously and when you're driving or, on a walk or something.
Right.
So, if you look at, if I pull up podcasts, I can look at the length of each episode. One might be 5 minutes, one might be half an hour.
I mean,
If I don't want to listen to half hour one, I won't.
So
Screw through
let's
it.
take wastewater treatment as a subject. I'm sure we
I
could.
find it super interesting.
I do too. But somebody might not, but I think we could fill 20 minutes with that easily. Or all the infrastructure stuff that
Yeah.
we're working on. I don't know. I think we try it and then we see where it takes us.
And
If we get used up of everything, I don't see it because there's always something happening, and
And if you have a guest on that is talking about a specific topic, you don't want to be like, wait, we're done. We're out of time. But I guess what Tom is saying, we have the freedom to go as long as we want to.
And if the guest is interesting or the topic's interesting, people are going to stick with it.
Yeah.
that's it.
Whether
I mean, it's really
Yeah.
going to be,
5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes.
It's the modern way to consume
yeah.
content.
Yeah. And my initial idea is just audio.
I think that's the best idea. Otherwise, the video will make people uncomfortable. and-
Yeah, it gets much easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to make video professional without professionals.
Yeah.
That's true.
Anyway, this is. I don't know if we need to do anything about this right now. It's just a discussion item.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that right?
We could do a test.
We could do a test. My goal was to really have it up and running for August of the Arts, but I guess
That was pretty lofty.
yeah, well, so there's still time, but we could set it up where we could do a test one about Apple Fest, and we can invite the chamber as guests and discuss it. Although it's kind of conflicting because I don't think of Apple Fest. I don't think as village residents as a demographic to discuss Apple Fest, but maybe that's a good thing. You know, maybe.
No, I think there's
Okay.
there's many things to discuss, and that even though many people come from far and wide, they do actually fund, in some cases, the entire treasury of some of our organizations
Yes.
in one day.
Yeah,
So
not-
there's all of that. I mean, that's a really important piece. And I'm sure you could frame it and find a way of discussing it and talking about it.
All right.
So for me, the idea is allowing more access to content and people understand what's going on, just
Right.
as a resource.
Right. And it can be fun. I mean, that's the whole thing, you know, if you're like walking and listening and you hear a lively conversation about wastewater treatment, it might just inspire you.
Yeah. it
Yeah, I think my goal is to really put the village in a position where it can share information on its own and not really have to so much depend on local media.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So the next step is maybe we
Write a script
write a script and try it out.
and ask when the chamber is available. Yeah, I'll continue working on this.
Okay. Well, thank you. Any more comments from the board? Okay. So now we're open for public comment, and this is specifically for agenda items only. So if anybody has any comments on anything on the agenda? Do you guys have an agenda?
We have a form for request for the facility use.
Oh, okay.
For the wet down.
Oh, for the wet
It's
down.
not listed on the agenda, but
Yeah.
it's an appendix to the.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it is.
It's on the agenda.
It is on the agenda. If you want to say a few words, you can promote it right now.
Well, appreciate the board's.
Put you on the spot?
Yeah. I'm Captain Ryan Riley from the Excelsior Hose Company. This is Lieutenant Chris Gardner.
Yes.
And as you know, we purchased a new engine for our firehouse, and we're going to celebrate its dedication in August, and we hope to do a traditional wet down down at Memorial Park. So we would like to use the facility and invite and maybe bring departments to come celebrate with us for the day.
It's great. And I just want to say, this has been a really great year for you guys. I mean, there's been so many events and activities that have taken place, with the dedication of the new firehouse, but just all the things that you do. They're so meaningful to us as a community. They kind of round it off. Besides keeping us safe, which is the big deal, it's also, just that. But it's all the other things that you bring to the plate, and and thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
So we will move on to motions, and Barry.
Incidentally, we're still waiting on an RSVP from the mayor and from Legislator Cheney for the event.
Oh, I sent mine in.
Okay?
Or it's on my calendar, but I better, okay. Okay.
Wrong meeting, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I thought I went through my stuff today and didn't see that, so I'll have to go back and look at it again.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'd love to have you.
Motion to grant permission to Village of Warwick employee Art Wendell to carry over 5 vacation days.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement for repayment of water and sewer charges with the property owner at 100 Main Street, Warwick, New York, in the amount of $2,921.80. $1,639.78 for water, and $1,282.02 for sewer, to be paid in 4 quarterly installments, and authorize the mayor to sign the same.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And would you take trustee Foster's motion,
Sure.
Mary?
Motion to enter into a service agreement with Gallego Information Services to conduct a records inventory and planning project for the offices of the village clerk and village treasurer at a total cost of $15,000, and authorize the mayor to sign the same per the recommendation of the village clerk records management officer Raina Abramson. Funds are appropriated in the budget code A1410-4950 in the 2023-2024 budget. Project to begin the following receipt of a final approval notice from SCD's Grants Finance Unit when the 2023-2024 New York State Archives Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund grant award has been processed and approved for payment.
Second, discussion on this. So just for those listening, this is really an initiative that our clerk, Raina Abramson, has been running with, and we received a grant to start the process of a long journey to eventually digitize our records. We have 430 cubic feet of paper records going back who knows how long. And the challenge with that, one, is we need space, we have to maintain it, and it can be a challenge if we have to look up certain information, if there's a FOIL request or something like that. But as I've learned over the past year and change, to get anything done, we have to go through a planning process. And so this is to hire really records inventory professionals to come in and look at the records, starting with the clerk's office. We've got several departments here, but starting with the clerk's and treasurer's department, to see what are the records that we have and compare those against the New York State records retention schedule, right? We have to keep certain documents a certain number of years, right? So the first step is conducting that inventory. So it's a lot of work. I think it's great that we have a grant to get this done. But then after that's complete, then we'll be able to apply for more grants to actually start the process of digitizing. And this will take several years to get through, but it's a worthy pursuit.
Thank you for, giving us that explanation and overview. It's good. And I just want to mention again about Raina carrying the ball and really, getting this grant together. And you helped her, of course, but I mean, it was just a tremendous amount of work. And also, there's a certain kind of vision that I think is really important to have that internally. So we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And do you want to take the next one? too?
Sure. Motion to grant permission to Excelsior House Company number
Hose.
Excelsior Hose Company number 1, exclusive use of Veterans Memorial Park for an engine wet down event on Saturday, August 19th, 2023 from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. with setup to begin at 10 a.m. and breakdown to be completed by 6 p.m. Request includes use of the pavilion, alcohol, electricity, restrooms, and use of a sound system. Completed park permit, insurance, and host liquor liability have been received. The event is in coordination with other organizations that regularly use the park for practices and games.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Tom?
Although the invitation went directly to the mayor, the rest of the board certainly.
Thank you.
I see, we're an afterthought, I get it.
If the mayor doesn't respond, what makes you think you would?
Oh, man.
Tough crowd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to return the village board escrow balance of $1,112.75 to Bo Kennedy for the Forester Avenue apartment project. All invoices have been paid as per the email from the village attorney Stephen Gaba and village engineer David Getz.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have another public comment section.
No comments,
No.
other than my father worked in wastewater treatment for 30 years, so
Oh,
I'm
wow.
well versed in the
Oh, good.
topics of wastewater treatment.
Okay.
So you would enjoy a 20-minute podcast, John.
He could probably do it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I like your hat, by the way.
I appreciate it.
That's good. We do have to go in, final comments from the board. I'm sorry. Anything? We have to go into executive session. So, thank you. Barry, if you would make the motion.
No, I just.
Well, it's two. I guess it would be that, just the,
Okay. Make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition of securities or sale or exchange of securities held by such public body, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value thereof.
okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we will go into executive session, we will come back into our regular board meeting, but we will not resume with any more motions or business. So, thank you.
That was a quick meeting.
Yeah, we get to see Broadway at Barrett's if we're
Oh, yeah.
really fast.
Bill would be really proud of us.
Oh, has it started raining?
I don't think so.
Good night.
Bye,
So
Alan.
where'd your father work?
He worked for the wastewater treatment plant, he worked for the DEP in New York City. He
Okay.
also worked over in Goshen. There's a wastewater treatment plant, and then also for the town of Highlands, down there by Mindock Park, right there on the Hudson by Bear Mountain. He worked
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.